talk about himself, and then yeah, we can proceed with the event. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Priya. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on your Saturday. Myself, Giridhar, I work at Hasdin as a senior architect. I take care of the MuleSoft accounts in Hasdin, and then I'm a certified MuleSoft developer and architect, and I'm certified architect in a few other integration technologies as well. And I'm leading this Mysore Meetup group, and I'm proud to say that I'm a MuleSoft ambassador too. That's pretty much about me. And we have Shruti with us today, who will guide us through the integration of Slack and ChatGPT using MuleSoft. Even I am excited to learn about this, and I hope many of you are also excited. Over to you, Shruti. All the best.
Thank you so much, Priya and Giri. And thank you everyone for joining this meeting this Saturday morning. I know it's not easy, but thank you so much for joining. And yeah, thank you so much, Shubham, Giri, and Priya for this opportunity. So, if I talk about myself, I am Shruti and I am currently working at Horizontal Digital as a MuleSoft developer. And till now, I am having around 4 years of experience. And yeah, I am a technology enthusiast and I like to update myself with exciting things that is happening around in tech nowadays. So, yeah, let's begin. This is our agenda for today. First, a basic introduction about Slack and ChatGPT, and then we'll see like how we can configure Slack for this, and then a small ChatGPT configuration, and then a quick demo in which we'll see like how to make this integration in AnyPoint Studio, and then Q&A, and then we'll wrap up this session. So, people who are working in Salesforce ecosystem must be familiar with Slack because it is a go-to messaging app. But the people, if those people who are not aware about it, it is a messaging app for business. It connects people to the information, and by bringing people together to work as one unified team, Slack transforms the way that organizations communicate. So, recently it was a big news around its acquisition by Salesforce. So in July 2021 its acquisition got completed, and the deal was about like $28 billion, and it was a very big news back then. Like it was around COVID times when it happened. So yeah, and with Slack you can share files with the team, find, join, and start conversations, access important messages and files quickly. You can find the right information by quickly searching, and you can have different types of conversation like depending upon different channels, and you can work quickly with your teammates. And it also having like cool emojis and reaction. So yeah, it's cool stuff. And so these are some Slack keywords that we should know. So in Slack, we have workspace. So in any workspace, like there are different channels and it's certain app that we can use. So we can have different workspaces in our Slack organization, and then we have different channels. So channels are different communication spaces where you can work with your coworkers and you can talk or communicate them like on specific different topics. And then we have direct messages. So DMs are like one-to-one conversations or calls like with any specific user. And then we can have apps, and apps are created to perform specific tasks in Slack. So if I quickly walk around, just give me a minute. Hmm. So can you guys see my Slack?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
Shruti.
Okay, so this is the default UI of Slack. it looks like it. And if you can see, I am in my workspace and we have different channels here: general, integrations, random. We can um, add any kind of channel that we want. We can create a new channel, and then, so right now you are only seeing that I am only here as a user because this is my personal Slack. But when we work in a big organization, then we can add our coworkers also. And then here is the option for apps. Here you can see I have my chatbot app, and then we can also add different kinds of app. So in Slack we can have, like, these are some standard app that Slack provide for, like Google Drive, Zoom. And we can also create our own app and add it here. And then, yeah, so that was all about it. Like, we'll see later how to do that in demo. I'm going back to my PPT. Okay. And then we'll do a quick introduction about ChatGPT. So we all know, we all use it right now. So ChatGPT is the new cool thing in tech nowadays, and it is a sibling model of Instruct GPT. So OpenAI created several kinds of models. ChatGPT is one of them, and we can provide a prompt, and it will give us a detailed response. So, in background, ChatGPT uses OpenAI API, and it is free to use. So, but it is also having like upgraded version which uses Chat, like GPT-4. It is based on GPT-4, but it is not free. It is subscription based service. But today we are using a ChatGPT 3.5 model, which is free to use. So it interacts in a conversational way. So it is a dialogue kind of format in which you can ask any specific question, and then ChatGPT will answer. And you can also do follow-up questions. So it will quickly adjust with your question in a conversational manner. And OpenAI API also provide to deal with not only with a chatbot in a textual kind of way, but also in a code or images format as well. And we can interact with OpenAI API through HTTP request, and it uses API keys for authentication. Next, these are some ChatGPT keywords that we should know. So prompts, when we want to interact with ChatGPT, we have to provide a question, and it is also known as prompt. So, prompt is the way by which you program the model, the ChatGPT model. So, you have to provide some instruction. So, it is basically the instruction that we feed into ChatGPT, and the more accurate our prompts are, the more accurate it will provide the responses. And ChatGPT is different from other tools. Like, there are several tools available in market right now for natural language processing, but ChatGPT is different in such a way that it uh, modifies the response based on our prompt. So yeah, and then we have token. So when we are interacting with ChatGPT, we have to take care of this uh, token limitation. So here you can see that if you are making a text prompt and ChatGPT is providing the response, then the complete generated word should not be greater than like 1500. And yeah, so it break down our prompt into several tokens, and we can only have like 2048 tokens as per now. And then we have models. So there are certain models available of ChatGPT. Today we are using GPT 3.5. But yeah, as it is mentioned here, GPT-4 is the latest and most powerful model, and it is available on the subscription basis now. So that was the brief about like ChatGPT and Slack. And if you want to explore more about ChatGPT, then like Shubham has written an amazing blog on it, and he also presented one session on ChatGPT. So you can refer that, and I myself referred it. So thank you so much, Shubham. And now we'll see like how we can configure Slack for this. So if you are having a Slack account, or you can create one, and then if you go to this URL, we can create a new app, and then there will be two options, like we can create an app from scratch and from app manifest. So right now we are creating our app from scratch, and then so guys, I will quickly walk you through with these slide, and then we'll see in demo how we can configure the app. So after that, we can give a relevant app name, and we can also select the workspace in which we want to install this app. And then after app creation, it will show us like basic information like client ID and client secret. So we can copy that somewhere for later use, because when we authenticate, then we'll need this client ID and client secret. And then we have to add some scope. So what are scopes? Scopes are specific permissions. Hello. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, we
Yes,
can hear you.
Shruti.
there was some
Mhm.
disturbance. Sorry. So what are scope? When we make any HTTP request, so for authentication purpose, we need certain permissions. So we can add these permission inside the scope column, and after that we can. So after this, all this configuration, Slack provide us a bot user over token. So we have to copy it from here and like save it somewhere, because we'll need this also. And then we can install our app to workspace. And then we can add this app to our channel. So I know these slides seems boring. So now we'll quickly go back to our Slack and see like how to do this. I'm in my Slack right now. Okay, let me quickly show you. This was the blog that I was talking about. So if you want to refer more stuff about ChatGPT, you can refer this blog, and then you can refer ChatGPT official documentation for more info, and then you can go to here Slack help center to it provide like everything API related stuff, and how to start with Slack, how to use, how to create an workspace, and how to set up your profile, etc. And then so this is my Slack, and I have already created my workspace. But what if you don't have Slack and you haven't also created your workspace? So you can go to this URL and you can create a workspace. You just have to click on create a workspace. Okay, what happened? Let me refresh. Oh, it got logged out. Just a minute. Meanwhile, while we logging in, I'm sharing all the important links in chat window. Just a minute. So I have pasted all the important links here. You can refer these. We are back again at our demo. Now I'm clicking on create a workspace. Okay, so you can provide any name to your workspace, and then click on next, and it will create your workspace. But I am not doing it because I have already created. Then you have your workspace. Now you have to create an app. So You can go to this link api.slack.com slash apps this endpoint, and then you can create an app. You can see that I have already created my chatbot app, but we'll see once again. So you have to click on create new app, and then select from scratch. You can provide any name. I am giving demo app. And then you have to select a workspace. So I will select my workspace and then create app. Okay, so if you can see in the basic information, it is providing us like all the information that we need, like client id, client secret, verification token. You can see that you can also like customize your app, like you can choose any background color or any specific app icon. Okay, and then you have to go to auth and permission. So if you can see, this button install to workspace is not enabled yet because it is saying you have to add at least one permission scope to install this app. So what we will do, we will add scopes here. Like, so now you must be thinking like, how can I recognize what scopes to add? So the thing is, there are different scopes available, but let's suppose, so it depends on the type of API message that you want to hit. Let's suppose you want to read the chat in any like channel. So it will have a, you can see that if you want to access the history of any channel, then you can add this scope. If you want to read the messages in any channel, you can add this. If you want to write any message in any channel, then you can add this one. So let me add this scope. Like you can add as many scope as you want. There is no limit to it, and then you can click on install to workspace. Okay, it will take some time. Allow. Now see, it is installed to our workspace, and now it provided us user OAuth token. You have to copy it because we will need it later for authentication purposes. And if I go back to my Slack, you can, oh, let me refresh it. Okay, we are still not seeing why. I think I have to add my app. Okay, yeah, you have to add it. So now after app creation, your app will show here and you can just edit. Got edit or not. So here it is saying add a demo app to this workspace, but it is not showing here. I don't know why. That's strange. Let me sign in my workspace once again. Just a minute, guys. Okay. Let me see the configuration of this app. Mhm. Okay, I think I know why, because I have to add certain scope here. That's why, but that's no big deal. Like if I open my app, my chatbot app that I created, so you can see that in auth and permission, I have added like these many scopes, right? So I think it is something to do with it. But let's move on, because I have already created this chatbot app, and we can move on with our demo with this app. Okay, and you have added this app here, and suppose you want to add any app to one of your channels. So what will you do? You can go to that channel. You can go to that specific channel. Let's suppose general, and click on here. Go to integrations, and here you will see an option to add an app. Click on add an app, and then you can like add. See that it is something to do with scope. So if I add certain permission, then we can add this app also. Now let's add this. So now chatbot is added to this one. Chatbot is added to our general channel, and in settings you can also make like any channel private or public. It will not show in general because it is the general channel, but if you go to this one, random channel, you can see that we can make this channel private also. So you can customize your channel according to your need. Okay, so now we have completed the setup for our Slack, and now we'll do the configuration for ChatGPT, and then after we will do integration. Let's go back to our PPT. So we have completed all these steps, right? Now, so for ChatGPT, it is just a small configuration. You have to log in into your ChatGPT account. You have to go to this URL platform.openai.com, and then if you go to your profile icon, you will see option to select this view API keys, and then you can generate a new API key, and then you can copy it. So make sure to copy it, because it will only be visible for one time only. All right. uh, okay, we can go to my ChatGPT account, and if you guys want to see that, okay, we can try ChatGPT. I have to log in into my ChatGPT account. Login, continue with Google. Okay, what was that? Platform.openai.com. We will go to this URL. Okay, we are in this platform setup page, and if I click on my profile icon, you can see view API keys. So I have generated these two keys before, but you can also create a new secret key, like demo key, create secret key, and you can copy this value somewhere, and now you will never see it again. So yeah, you can also delete your keys. So that was all about it. You just have to grab this key, because it we will use this in our configuration. We can go back to our PPT. Now we'll see demo. So yeah, boring stuff is all over. Now we will in practical see like how we can call these Slack REST API and ChatGPT API. So first of all, we need to understand like what operation do we have to perform. So let's suppose there is a chatbot in your Slack and you are asking a question. So what you have to do, there needs to be some operation in which you are reading the message that you have posted there. Okay, so for that operation we are using this API method conversations.history. By using this method we can quickly access the history of any particular channel and we can grab our question from here. So we'll use this method for that. And then what we have to do, like we have to call the ChatGPT API so that we can ask our question, whatever question that we have asked in our Slack channel, we can like send that query to the ChatGPT API. So also we will use like chat slash completion endpoint for that. And then what operation we have to do after uh, querying the our question to ChatGPT will provide a response, and then we have to post that particular response again into our Slack channel. So just a minute, I am back in my Slack. So I have added this ChatGPT here. So if you can see, we can ask question and ChatGPT will do like quickly provide us like we can quickly ask some random question. It will take some time because I have set 15 seconds in scheduler in. So see, it provided us response. So we can go back to our presentation. So we are using Slack REST API and we are using this endpoint conversations.history. What it will do, it will provide us all the channel history. And to use this endpoint, you have to add some scopes again. So you have to add at least one of these scopes corresponding to the conversation type, and then it will provide a response in which it will show us the entire history of a conversation, and then you can pick like any latest message, the latest question you can pick from that history. So these are the argument that you have to give. Token channel HTTP method should be post, and this is the endpoint. And then uh, we will also use this method chat.post message. What it will do, it will post the response back in our Slack channel, and these are the required argument HTTP method and endpoint. We'll see this in practical also, but I'm just quickly walking through the slides. And then we'll use this, and like we'll use open AI API, and this is the endpoint chat completions. And we'll use post http method, this is the endpoint. And in request body you have to provide the model that you are using. Right now we are using ChatGPT model 3.5. and then you have to provide message, so it should be in an array format. These all are required. Then you have to provide role. There are different kind of role you can refer in ChatGPT documentation, but today we are using user. And then you have to provide the content. Okay, okay. Now we'll see everything in demo. So can you guys see my Postman window? You can see. Okay,
Yep.
Eh, Hey Shruti, can you just hide this pop-up?
which one? Okay,
Thank you.
okay. So this was the endpoint which we just saw. This is conversation.history method, and this is a get request, and you have to provide channel and Okay, so you must be wondering like from where I can get this channel ID. You have to provide channel ID. So if you go back to your Slack, this is my integration channel. Click here. See, we can see particular channel ID. You can copy this channel ID from here. Go back to Postman, provide it here. Okay, so this is a simple HTTP request, and now the bearer token that Slack provided before, you have to provide it here. Let me go back. This is the token I'm talking about. Just a minute. I have so many windows open. Okay, this is the token I'm talking about, bot user or token. So it will be provided to you when you install any particular app. Okay, back to our Postman. This is the token, and in parameter you have to provide. Okay, you can also provide it in parameter, and if you make this request, see, we are getting the updated history. Just few minutes back I have posted this query and got this message, so it will show like whole history of that particular channel, this endpoint conversations dot history. But this is a lot of history, right? This is a lot, I mean, this is a lot. So what you can do, you can also pick the latest message. So with this, what you have to do, you just have to add one more query parameter, which is limit equal to 1. So it will, what it will do, it will only give you the latest message that is available in that particular channel. See, now we can only see one. So this works for us, right? There is no need to fetch the whole history.
Shruti, may I ask a few questions here?
Okay.
So, first question is, can we utilize the name of the channel here instead of the ID? Is it possible?
No, it is not possible because
Mm-hmm.
uh, no, it is not possible because if you go back to the documentation, just let me open the documentation. You can see there is particular documentation available for the each I mean method that we are using. So you can go to this URL for conversations.history, and if you can see the documentation, what it is saying in argument, it is saying that it can only have channel ID as required argument. So for these particular methods that we are using, there is a very well documented stuff is provided here, and it gives us all the info like which method we have to use, what are the scopes that we have to add, like if you are confused which scope to add, it is provided here, content type of a request, and then what are the rate limit, and also the required argument. So you can see like you have to provide token, that is authentication token, and you have to provide channel ID. All right.
Okay, fair enough. And second question is the limit one. This limit is if we put one, then it will give us the latest one or any random one.
No, it will give latest one.
Okay, so if we give two or five, it will pick the latest five.
Let's try. I mean, I have only tried with like one only. I mean, it should give, right? Yes, it is showing.
Anyway, we'll explore it. But it's thank you. You bring up this parameters to explore.
Yeah, so the thing is, it is a open-ended use case, and I request all of you guys to implement this your way because there can be multiple solution. So if you can see, I'm only using the REST API provided by Slack and ChatGPT, but there is Slack connector also available, right? And there is one ChatGPT connector also available. So you can explore, and you can explore this use case in your own way, right?
Thanks, Shruti. Yeah, please carry.
So, all right. In this way, we can get the latest message, and then if you want to post something in channel, so you have to make a post HTTP request. Okay, this is the endpoint, and you have to provide like two things in the body. first channel ID, and then the text that you want to provide as response. And in header, the same thing, you have to provide auth token. So let's suppose provided hello VYS, and let's hit send. Okay, so go back to our Slack. See, there is new message in random. Hello Muleys. So to read the message, we can use conversations.history, but to post something in any channel, we have to use this endpoint. Okay. So in this way, we can provide the response. And to request to ChatGPT, let's suppose I want to request you have to provide this endpoint chat slash completions. You have to provide your bearer token, like, or token here, which you copy pasted, right? And yeah, that's all about it. You can hit send, and ChatGPT will provide the response. But you have to like take care of this structure, right? You have to provide model, and inside message you have to provide the role. I have provided user, and in the content you can ask your question or prompt, right? So we'll use these things in our like final implementation. Okay, so now let me go to my Anypoint Studio. Like, I will show you what I have done. It's a simple program. So just a minute. So once again, like as I said, it is a open-ended use case. Like, it can be multiple ways, so you can implement it in your way. But here what I did, it is a scheduler, and I have fixed the frequency for 15 second. You can see, so it, like, after every 15 second it will check the, I mean, this program will run and check if any new query is available in our Slack channel or not. And then we are making a request to Slack channel. So it is the same. You can see conversations dot history. This is a simple configuration. You just have to provide channel in query parameter. You can, and whatever response you are getting back from this request, you can save it somewhere. So I have saved it in this target variable. Okay, and then, so the thing is, conversations dot his, like, whatever response you will get from this channel dot history, what you have to pick first, you have to pick the latest message. But now this is not a query, right? So you have to make some transformation. Like, if there is a question, then only you have to pick the text, right? But this is not a question. Like, you guys getting what I'm saying? Like, it should only pick the latest message when there is a question from our side, right? So this logic that I have built for this, but it will not be easy to understand it here. So we go back to like data weave playground. So what I did, if you go back to the history, let me go back to history. This is our history, right? So the message can be of two type. The first message can be which is provided by the bot. So the message which is provided by bot will have this field bot id and this specific like bot number, and the query which we are asking, which we want to ask, will have this, instead of bot id it will have client message id. So let's suppose if you are asking any question in Slack channel, so your message will have client message id, and whatever response the chatbot is providing back, it will have bot id. So you can distinguish the message. So what if we only pick these kind of message in which we have client message IDs present, and then we can get this text from here. So we will get our question. So I have created this data weave um, logic for this. Let's suppose you are fetching latest message, and if it is having client message ID, then it will pick like whatever text that we have provided. Let's suppose I have provided hello, then it is showing me hello. But let's suppose we are not having this client message in our latest message. Let's suppose we are having this one, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, right? Let me copy paste this payload here and paste it here. So now, if you can see, it is now giving me null. So in this way, like this if condition is checking if that particular kind of message is a client message or not. If it is, then it is getting the question, and if it is not, then it is setting as null. So am I clear on this thing, guys? This is a very basic data weave logic. You can build it in your way, like whatever way you want to. All right. So this particular thing is just to like find whether we asked a question or not, and if we have asked the question, then we are setting our question in this payload, and if not, then we are setting it as null. So this way we can implement our choice router. So if it is not null, let's suppose we got our query, it is not null, then we can request that particular question to ChatGPT. So now we are again making another request to ChatGPT, and this is the same endpoint chat completion. You have to provide payload. So if it is a question, then the question will come here, right? And if I go to this configuration, you can see this is the protocol. We have to use https api.openapi.com, and in settings you have to provide the token that you have copied from open API. All right. So this was the basic configuration. It will request our question to ChatGPT, and whatever response we are getting back from ChatGPT, I'm saving it here in this ChatGPT response, right? And again, as you see, when we request to ChatGPT, it will return back this kind of response, right? So all these things are not necessary for us. We just need this content. So again, we have to write some data weave logic to fetch this content. So that I have provided here, like whatever text I am getting, I'm just picking up the content, and then again we are making another request to Slack, and now I am posting that particular message which we got from ChatGPT back to Slack. So this is our endpoint. You have to make a post request, you have to provide payload. So as you can see, the payload, when we post in any channel, payload should be like this. You have to provide channel ID and then the text. So that's why this data weave logic contain these two values, right? Channel ID and text. So yeah, we have set up our payload. In headers, you can see again we have provided bot your user token, and then in query parameter there is nothing, URI nothing. This is a simple configuration, guys, and that was all about it. If I go back to my Slack and integration channel, we can like ask anything like who won IPL 2020, who won Mumbai Indians won IPL 2020. It is my favorite team. Let's see. See, Mumbai Indians won IPL 2020. So that was all about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Let us go back to our presentation. So yeah, that was the basic configuration, and now we are open for questions. If any.
So, Shruti, in this integration, you are polling in every 15 seconds to Slack. Is there any option like we can get the event from Slack the moment I post the message? Because polling is like consume resources. Like if somebody is idle for 1 hour, we
Mm-hmm.
don't have like your if you are polling 15 seconds in every minute, you are having like 4 attempts wasted, like getting no messages. So any event based things we can get it from Slack.
Okay, that's a very nice question, first of all. So, again, it comes back to this thing only. Like, I have implemented it this way, but yes, we can do that. We can explore stuff. So, I think I need to explore this thing because I haven't done it that way. But yes, you are right. It is like if you are not requesting anything, that it is a wastage of resources. Yeah, I totally get that.
And like the app that you have associated with your channel.
Mm-hmm.
So like for every channel I have to do it, right? I mean, let's say I have a 5 different team for 5 projects. So I have
Yes.
I have to
So,
do it for
ye-
every 5 individually.
ye- so the thing is, you will not need this particular chatbot app in every channel, right?
Mhm.
So it depends on the requirement. But if you want to add it in different channel, then you have to add it in like every particular channel.
Right, right.
Yes.
Thanks.
Any other question?
I don't see any questions in the chat.
Okay, I can see one question. Is there any option to pick particular specific message? So, Kalyani, the thing is, like, for this particular use case, we can pick the latest one and we can check if this is a client message or chatbot message. And if it is a client message, then we can provide the response. And if not, then nothing will happen. So, I don't think so. Like, there is any need to pick any particular message, but we can pick like specific, like first message, right? And I think we have to explore the possibilities, right? So now I would like to hand it back to Giri. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Shruti, for guiding us through this latest and intriguing content about Slack and ChatGPT integration with MuleSoft. And thanks to all the participants who joined us today. We appreciate your time and interest, particularly in this topic. And please nominate yourself if you want to be a speaker with Mysore Group. Please let me or Shubham know. We can help you if that is your first time. And again, once again, we want to reiterate about the feedback. Please share your feedback, ideas, and suggestions in the form of, when you get the feedback form. Why? Because your inputs are very important to us. It'll help us to come up with more insightful topics in our future or upcoming sessions. Yep. So that's all. Anyone have any questions? Shubham, do you have anything to share?
No, that's all. I mean, thank you, Shruti, and for for being an amazing speaker. Great session.
Shruti, there is a question. I think Shubham, you can also answer this. Do we have any limitations in using ChatGPT secret key?
Limitations as in
Secret key using.
no, I don't think so. There is any limitation. The limitation is on like I think you will not be able to send many requests to the Chat GPT API. So that's the limitation. Like since it's a free version, with the paid version that was like I don't know. So that's I mean with paid version you will have a more number of requests in a limited number of time. Does that answer your question, Naresh?
Naresh?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So thank you, everyone. If no questions, we are good to wrap up. Yeah, please reach out to me or Shubham if you want to be a speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.